welcome back, everybody. You're still watching us here on Cape Rugby TV, here on Cape Town TVDS TV, channel 263. And of course, if you are watching right now, I can of course also say to you, Happy Women's Day. And we know that a lot of folks out there are busy celebrating Women's Day. And of course, Jerome, while we're talking about Women's Day, our Western Province women's rugby side, we've got to give them some credit. We've got to talk about, in fact, Western Province rugby women during the course of the show. Club rugby is doing really well. There's more girls playing rugby. Your DHL Western Province rugby women's side always doing well.
Yeah, look, wasn't so good for them this weekend past. They played the Bulls. They played Bulls away. But the other games was good. They've won most of the games. So,
but all in all, from a Western Province point of view, if we look at the growth of women's rugby, it's doing really well.
Yeah, it's doing, I must say, Jongi Nokwe is doing well with the under 20 girls. They're playing Saturday again, curtain raiser to the women's team against EP, so the under 20 girls are playing also. But that group of girls, the under 20s, they're looking very good, and it's a lot of players and a lot of good rugby players there. So I think the future for that girls to come up, a lot of them, I suppose, will get call up to the seniors next year.
Yeah, well, you know, wherever I go to a club rugby game, or in general conversation, people are talking about women's rugby. People are saying it's growing, it's getting stronger. It's good to see that more women are participating. And in fact, I'm getting the same comments from people saying that it's nice to see that young girls are playing rugby. School girls rugby doing really well.
Yeah, schools are picking up now. They're also busy with their programs now, so that's good. That's a big feeder for Western Province, like the schools in general, feeding the guys going to the Craven Week. So that's a big plus for Western Province rugby to get this from the schools also and get more club players involved.
All right. Well, we did say we're going to take a look at the second half between Falsebay and Brackenfell. Of course, Falsebay home ground advantage, and Falsebay leading 12 points to 7 in the going into halftime. So Jerome, there you have your halftime score. Falsebay leading 12-7. Final thoughts before we look at the second half?
Yeah, look, it like I say, it's Falsebay looked like the team that's pretty much in charge of the game. Brackenfell scored there before halftime. They scored, so it's pretty even.
Yeah. All right, folks. Here we go. Falsebay, Brackenfell, and of course, big thanks to Mike Stackmeyer and the team from Moto Vaps Falsebay for sending in the footage. Let's take a look. Right, there we go, folks. All right, Jerome. So final results then, of course, going in favour of Falsebay. We're going to take a look at the results now in a second or so. But yeah, thoughts on the game?
Yeah, look, like I say, Falsebay defence very, very well organised. So Brackenfell could only get it first points in the first half. I also think there was a couple of opportunities that they could have kicked for poles, because if you play away from home, chances that you not going to win is slim, especially against a team like Falsebay. So take every point that's available, and there were a couple of points which Brackenfell could have taken, I think, maybe play to get a point out of the game, but they didn't use that opportunity. So yeah, I think they stuck and think that they must score tries. So and at the day, as a coach, you can see how Falsebay was defending. There was no ways that you can break through. And on the other side is Brackenfell defense wasn't too good, because there was a few line breaks which I think Falsebay could have actually scored, but they didn't get points. But yeah.
So when we're talking about a result there, 26 points to 7. If we just look at it from a Brackenfell point of view, I mean, I wouldn't really say. If we look at some of the Brackenfell results, I mean, they've had a pretty good season so far. You know, I wouldn't say really that they're a 7-point team.
No, that's exactly. I mean, the way they started in the beginning, they were up there on top, and they were playing good rugby, and in sort of bad conditions, they still managed to get points and win games. And yeah, so they're not a bad side, but surely Falsebay starting slower and didn't start off well, catching up. So they're going to be tough. It's going to be tough for teams playing against them now, the way they're picking up now.
Yeah, well, let's take a look then at some of the other results that have come in. Well, in fact, folks, before we show you the results, because we know that you're dying to see the results, so you're going to have to stick around for that. Let's quickly take a look then at the logs and where do folks stand on the logs at the moment. So sitting on the top of the log at the moment, of course, Helderberg sitting on 41 points, followed by Durban, Unimil, Hamilton's, Falsebay, UCT, Villages, Brackenfell, and then St. George's. So Brackenfell, Jerome, has got 29 points here. They're sitting on number 8 on the log. Above them is Villages, who still have 2 games in hand. UCT, if we just look at the sort of the borderline scores there. So Brackenfell, well, it's a tough one, Jerome, because for them still, even though they've still got to play Kales River and UWC, their last game of the season, like you said earlier on, is Villages. I must say it does look to me like it's a bridge too far for Brackenfell. It's going to be a bit too tough, because the other teams are going to come up.
Yeah, they're going to come up unless they obviously they go flat out, get 15 points out of the last 3 games.
15 points is not impossible.
It's not impossible.
You can do 15 points.
It's not impossible. So unless they have that attitude, which they can do, so it's not impossible. So there's a lot for them to play for.
But the thing, though, is if you're going to aim for the 15 points, and you can get the 15 points, you've got to hope that the other teams above you don't also get their 15 or even 20 points. Because like I said, I mean, Villages has got 5 games in hand. UCT's got 5 games in hand. Falsebay's still got 2 games in hand. And you just want to squeeze into the top 6. So you not only are you hoping that you get your 15 points, but you're hoping that the teams ahead of you get 0 points.
Yeah, hopefully they can lose, but that's always this time of the year with the competition.
Yeah. It's all so close. It's all so close. But this is really what we love about club rugby. Okay, folks, we'll take a break. When we come back from the break, we're going to carry on taking a look at our logs, results, and fixtures. And, of course, don't forget the match, Kales River against Hamlets. Like I said, I was out there over the weekend, and wow, what a game. Most importantly, what the fans, but I'll talk to Jerome about that in a second. We'll be back now.